Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about a competitor campaign on Google Ads, how you actually get that to work. So a lot of people who try to get this to work have a bright idea to go after their competitors when they're searching for them or basically maybe even just interested in them. And most people fail at this for a very simple reason, which I'm going to go through. And I'm going to go through the right way to do this to make a lot of extra money in your business. Very few people actually try to do it the way that I'm mentioning here. I'd say 1% or less of companies that try to run ads for their business online use this technique I'm giving you here, which it should be an obvious way to do business. But very few people either want to do it because they have preconceived false assumptions about it, or they just don't think about it, I guess. But it's so simple, anybody could also do it as well. So what this all revolves around is targeting your review seekers. So in other words, when somebody searches for your competitor and then uses the word review or reviews or on a page that talks about reviews of your competitor, or for instance, where they're watching reviews or information about that competitor on their YouTube channel, those are money. Absolutely, you want to get in front of those people every time if you're going to run a business and run ads online, because those are the exact people that are the easiest to sway over, and they're all people that are going to be buying in the very near future, most likely. Maybe not every time, but half of those people that are looking for reviews of your competitor are going to buy from somebody. Is it going to be from you, or is it going to be from them? What I'm telling you here is going to be how to get them to buy from you a majority of the time. And if you're not using this strategy, you'll end up with the sale way, way, way less of the time because they don't know about you, or they just don't take you seriously enough. So with that said, I'll get directly into the content here. So there are people looking for competitors, and then there are people looking for competitors to research them. So going back to what I said at the beginning of the video, there's the main reason why that people screw up trying to do competitor campaigns, as they're called, most people call competitor campaigns, is what they'll simply do is they'll try to have an ad show up for people on Google or on Bing, let's say, when they type in their competitor's name. And that's really dumb most of the time. Some markets it certainly can work really well, don't get me wrong, but in most markets, particularly service markets, it doesn't work at all. Why? Because most of the people searching for that competitor's name are not looking to do business with anybody else besides that competitor. So what you ultimately end up having in those scenarios specifically is people who and just as a general disclaimer about Google, half the time people don't even read the damn ads. They type something into Google, they expect the ads that Google shows them are relevant to what they're looking for, and then they assume they don't have to read anything, and they just click on an ad and then hope that Google delivered. So you can see where I'm going with this, that you have a big issue when showing up for competitor searches on Google when half the people don't even read the ads. So ultimately they're looking to get a status on their order, get a refund, whatever. They type in that competitor's name to find that competitor, go to click on the ad, they get to your site, they call or whatever, find out that they're not dealing with that competitor, and then they waste your salesperson's time and waste your ad money. So what we want to do, this strategy could be effective if the people searching for the competitor were mainly all people that haven't bought from that competitor yet or are still open to buying from somebody else. Then it would be good. So in most markets, people searching for that competitor, it might be 80-90% of the people searching for that competitor are not looking to do business with anybody else no matter what. No matter what you say, 10% are. And you can't treat Google like a billboard because it's so inefficient to target 10 people to get one potential sale that the ROI on doing that is not there. So what can we do to go after that 10% that actually are open to being swayed over so we can get some extra sales going? To make a lot more money doing competitor targeting, the money is in going after the people, that 10%, and the way that you can do that is simply targeting people who are typing in that competitor name and then review or reviews after it specifically. That is exactly what you want to do on Google search, that is what you want to do when after a Google search they end up somewhere online looking at an actual review itself. There is a short list of things that you can do to get your ad in front of every single person who's looking for a review of your competitor and tap into that super juicy traffic that's actually better than regular search traffic. It converts better because if somebody's typing in drywall services in Phoenix, that person may buy, maybe they won't. If they're looking for, specific drywall company reviews, that person's most likely going to buy at that point in time, not either from them or somebody. So it actually is more profitable than the ads you probably have going right now on Google search if you have them going, which is why you really want to do this. So with that said, with that list of things that you can do, you want to get in front of every single person who's gotten far enough down the buying process that they actually got to start looking reviews, so you could tap into that traffic and get some extra sales. I'll tell you right up front, in terms of measuring results though, before I get into this list of strategies to follow here to get some free extra profit going for your business, that in terms of measuring your results, it's difficult to do. People that run ads on Google Display Network, where it's, you're running ads on banner ads on other websites through Google, or running ads on YouTube, or running ads on Gmail, whatever there, it doesn't work the same way as it does on Google search unless you're selling a $20 broom. Why? Because people don't make instant decisions. The only time they make instant decisions for the most part, and even then it's not really that much, is on Google search. They're on Google, they're searching for your product or service, they're ready to buy now. If you have a banner ad show up for somebody, even if they're in market for what you're selling and you have something interesting to say, they're still not going to buy right away because that's just not how it works. They see your message, they're compelled by it, and then they're going to buy on Friday when they get paid. Or they're going to buy 2 days from now after they do some more research or whatever. But if you aren't in the game with them while they're doing that research, you have no chance at the sale. So to measure the effectiveness of this campaign, it's not so much about using the conversion tracking that Google provides us and seeing, did they see our banner ad when they were looking at our competitors' reviews, and then did they click on it right then and there, and did they buy right then and there? Or did they buy within 30 days or whatever and didn't switch devices, they didn't use a browser that doesn't have cookie tracking, they weren't on an Apple device, on and on and on, and or they weren't at work and then now they're at home or whatever when they decided to buy. You're not going to, so in other words, you're not going to, because there's many reasons why if they don't buy right away, the tracking isn't very efficient, that you're not going to judge what I'm telling you here just by looking at the tracking itself. Better way to judge this is to simply start doing all of it, and I do mean all of it, and then watch your overall sales go up, okay? And not over 1 day or 1 week. Do this for 6 months and then watch how much your sales go up. Why? Because you're going to get, of the pool of people that are going to be buying in your market. So, because here's the issue. Everybody wants an ad that can go out there and convince somebody who isn't going to buy, they weren't in market for your product or service, but you convinced them and then now they're going to buy. It's so hard to do, actually. It's not impossible, but it's very hard in comparison to people who are already in market for your product or service. You just got to give them a little bit better reason to buy from you than buying from the competitors. It's 10 times more efficient to do that than the other thing. So before you even go out and try to convince anybody, you need to do this first. You set this up like I'm mentioning here. Watch your overall sales go up. You'll invest very little money and then you'll see your overall sales come up. Why? Because every single person who's in market for your product or service is now going to be aware of your company and what makes it different, and therefore a high percentage of those people are now going to be buying from you. Or if you want to be more precise about this and don't take my word for it, do something what we call the marketing field conversion lift testing, where you take half of the US or half of your country or whatever, half your city, and do what I'm telling you here for that half geographically, and then leave the other half untouched. You're not going to apply this strategy to the other half. And then 6 months from now, see how your sales have done for the half where you did do it and the other half where you didn't do it. And then you'll be sold on this process. Because it does work every time, assuming that you have competitors, you have enough competitors and the market's large enough, and or you have large enough competitors. Because if you're in a market that's so small and you're like the only guy in town, of course this isn't going to do much for you. There's not enough people researching competitors' reviews to matter. But if you're in a fairly large market, this is great. There's a whole gold mine here waiting for you once you set this up. So anyway, with that said, and at the very least, if you don't think there's enough there, do it first before trying to convince new people who are not interested in your product or service to try to buy from you, like I said before, because that's just the only smart thing to do, especially since this is not that hard to set up. So anyway, what you're going to do, so there's obviously to run ads, there's three components. There's the targeting, what you say on the ad, and what you say on the landing page, right? You got to get the targeting right in order to make this work. And then the targeting wise, I've got the list of what you're going to target to get in front of people who are currently looking at reviews of your competitor, either now or in the recent past, which indicates they're in the process of looking at reviews before they buy. So with that said, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to set up a campaign on a discovery campaign on Google, as well as display network campaign, which gets you your ads everywhere you can in front of that user, essentially. I would add also YouTube to this, sorry. And with this, what you could do is you could set up that YouTube campaign, discovery campaign, display campaign to target, because there's something called custom segments. You create a custom segment, and in the custom segments, there's an option in there when you set this up that'll ask, do you want to target people that have been researching topics about XYZ or people who have searched for XYZ? You want the people who have searched for XYZ, and you're going to type in there your competitor name and then review, and then also your competitor name and then reviews with an S on the end. And then you're going to do that for each competitor. That way, if they've searched for one of your competitors' reviews on Google in the recent past, like the last 30 days or so, your ad can show up for them. But what you want to do is you want to pair that with keyword targeting on your campaign. Why? Because if you layer on additional keyword targeting, what this will do is it'll make sure that, at least for this particular approach, which I recommend isolating this out because you can control your investment better. With keyword targeting, it'll get you on pages that are actively about your competitors' reviews. So instead of just targeting people, in other words, who are researching about your competitors' reviews in the recent past, they actively are on a page or video talking about the review of your competitor's product or service. When you combine the two, because keyword targeting by itself, it's sloppy. Google doesn't do a great job with it. But when you pair the two of the audience that I mentioned here and the keyword targeting, it does a very good job of only getting you on the pages that are about your competitors' reviews. This one won't get a lot of action unless you're in a fairly large niche. But I thought I would mention this in and itself because maybe some of these other things don't pan out real well for you, but this would be the most efficient thing you could basically do. And this will, and you'll stick with this. I like to separate out my audiences so that I can come back if it's not quite working as well as I want. I can just shut off the parts that are less like, that are not as tight in terms of the targeting, which means they're going to be less efficient. Second thing you can do, target people who have searched for reviews on Google before. I just talked about this. So instead of targeting people who are looking at reviews actively, you target people who've searched for your competitors' reviews on Google in the recent past through creating a custom segment and people who've searched on Google, competitor plus review, competitor plus reviews. Similarly, you could target channels by themselves. So if your competitor has a YouTube channel and they've got information on there that reviews the product, or if you're talking about a channel, a specific video on YouTube about that reviews the different products and whatnot, and different products in your space, you could target that whole YouTube channel and effectively get in front of people looking at reviews of products or services in your niche. And I would recommend doing this as well. Similarly, you could target channels by themselves, or excuse me, already said that way. Target people while they're searching on Google itself. So on Google, if they're typing in your competitor name plus review or competitor name plus reviews, you have a Google search ad that shows up at the top of Google, and you target people that way. And then finally, target a list of web pages. So if you find the first thing on the list I mentioned here not productive enough, what you can actually do is go out and type in like competitor plus review, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like the competitor's name is Johnson Toys. It's going to be Johnson Toy Reviews. Type that into Google. See the web pages that rank on the first page. Write down the URLs of those landing pages or pages that rank on the first page, and then create a placements targeting list on your Google display campaign targeting those exact pages. And with that itself, that would be the most precise way and accurate way of targeting people looking at reviews of your competitors. Even though this one is, unless you're in a fairly large niche, you're not going to get a whole lot of impressions and opportunities to sell with this. But I would do it anyway if I were wanting to get the most out of my niche. Similarly, by the way, you can target individual videos on YouTube in the same way through your YouTube campaign. So you may just find individual videos that have your competitor's review on it, like some random guy reviewed your competitor's product, and then just target that video as well. So with that list of things, that gives you the ability to basically blanket the internet any place and any time somebody searches for a review of any one of your competitors. Now you're going to show up every single time, and you're in the market every single time someone does looks for reviews. And with that, the ad, what you're going to use, what I found is the most effective is just to say, before you buy X, read this first. That'll get someone's attention enough to actually click on the ad. The ad's not meant to sell them. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to sell people on the ad, and ultimately it costs the same whether they read the ad and that's it, or they read the ad, click on it, and then get to your landing page and read that. So effectively, why waste the real estate on the ad to just sell the product or service outright, because you can't tell too much about that product or service on the ad. All you want to do on the ad is get them to get to your landing page. And if you tell them that they might be making a mistake, that's the best way that you can get them to your landing page at the highest rate you can. The more people you get to your landing page in this specific super profitable list of people to target in your niche, the more you're going to make. And then on your landing page, you're going to explain why you're better than all the competition. Pretty simple. We've been having a lot of success with videos, so right away you could just take them to a video that does a cross comparison between your product and your products like it that compete against it in your space. But you also could do a traditional landing page where you have different content that goes through why your product or service is superior. But if you are going to get this to work, you can't just send them to your services, your normal landing page that you use for everything else and expect it to work well. Why? Obviously, because if somebody's looking for your competitors' reviews and they see a random ad saying before you buy, there's too much of a disconnect there. And of course, this list of people is so profitable, you could have a picture of your product or service on your ad and then get a few sales that way going, but it's nowhere near as effective as doing it the way that I'm saying, where you create an unclosed loop in their mind. And that is, they're unsure about what they need to know in order to make a good purchase. Before you buy X, make sure to read this first. Then from there, you've got their attention. Then it's just up to you. Can you convince them that the other products suck enough to only buy yours? If you've got a product that's legitimately better, it's not that hard. You create a video doing a cross comparison between you and the other product saying why they suck. That person's going to be sold already. This is so lethal to do this, but so few people want to do this because it's a lot of work to put together a video that compares your product versus the competitor's products, having to order your competitor's products or whatnot, or order the competitor's services, or go through the buying process, pretending you're a customer at your other, competitors to find out what they offer, and then doing a competitive analysis. But for the consumers, for the consumer themselves, this is like a godsend. This is the information that they were looking for. Why were they even looking for a review in the first place? Because they want to know they're making the right decision. You've bundled up everything that they want to know in one cohesive, tight little package. This is where most people go wrong online. They think, oh, I could just run my ad and people will see the ad and they will buy. No, you have to figure out what that customer wants. Yes, if they're searching for a product or service on Google and say like, buy red shoes, of course, you just got to sell them the red shoes. But if you're going to sell outside of that context, you have to understand what the consumer wants and give that to them. Not just come with, your normal sales pitch for red shoes. You got to understand what makes that customer tick. If your red shoes, for instance, on that example, are good because they will make people envious, well, that's what you need to talk about in your ad and in your landing page to get people's attention at a high rate. So, with that said, that's what you're going to do. And like I said, you're not going to see people seeing your little video doing your cross comparison and immediately buy unless it's a product that's under $100 for sure. Why? Because they don't make decisions on products that are expensive or services that are expensive that quickly. And even then, if it's a cheap service or a cheap product, there's way more sales occurring than what the conversion tracking says that you're getting. I promise you. Which is why you want to do the method of tracking that your results, like I mentioned before, where you track overall sales lift once this is all set up. Or doing it to half of your targeted geographic area and then half not. And then after 6 months, see what the sales do. Because I promise you, you do this the way that I'm saying, you come back here, you chew me out and say that you tell me that it doesn't work. Because I will gladly, or if it doesn't work, I will personally explain why it didn't work, what the missing link is on it. Not to say that it shouldn't work, but if it does not work, you just didn't follow the steps here, basically. And I know it sounds arrogant, but this is as good as it gets finding customers online. The only way it won't work is if you can't get enough clicks, because you're not in a big enough niche where it won't work. If you're in a niche where there's enough people looking for reviews, it'll work. So with that said, instead of targeting competitors outright that are looking for their products or services, go this route first at least, and then if you could get this to work, you could go ahead and try to target people who went to your competitors' websites by themselves or search for your competitors' products or services on Google in the recent past and go that route and see if you can make that work. But until you've done this, it doesn't make any sense. Or, at least if you expect a lot of people to be looking at reviews on a monthly basis. And if you got this set up and it works, and you go one step up and just target people who've been to your competitor's website but weren't looking for reviews, it's just not that hard to get that to work. Then all you're doing is switching up your targeting. You got your ad, you got your landing page ready. The same things are going to work there. If you're going to show up out of nowhere for somebody who was interested in competitor A, the same things are going to work to get that person's attention, even if they weren't looking for reviews. Once in a while, we'll be able to just, if we know somebody's been to our competitor's site, we'll be able to approach them with the product and get them to buy that way, so to say. But ultimately, it has to be a really good, the product itself has to be way better than the competition and obvious just by looking at it that it's better. If you don't have that and what makes your product or service better isn't obvious, you got to go more so with the approach I mentioned, where you talk specifically why it's better and you break that down for them in a very simple format. Some people that might use this strategy will do like a matrix where they'll say this product versus all our competitors' products, and here's like the technical aspects. We're more, we have a more powerful motor, whatever. You could go that route, but that's kind of played out, and that doesn't really relate to people, as well as a video where you can literally say, here's product A, cutting a board. Here's product B, cutting a board. Yes, it's going to take a lot more time to do it, but every single person in your niche is going to be highly compelled to just buy your product after that. Once you get them to see that video, it's almost game over. So I own a couple e-commerce companies myself, and that's what we're doing. We're going to spend the money to put together the video that compares the products and breaks down why it's better. Why? Because this is the obvious thing to do if you're going to get into business and sell products or services online, that is, even services as well. It's the obvious thing to do. The consumers would tell you it was the obvious thing to do. Now it's up to you whether you're going to do it or not. So with that, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. We've, by the way, done this for day spas, selling $3,000 toolboxes, you name it. This strategy will work. So it will also work for you. If you have any questions about anything I covered, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. If you have any ad-related questions, you can ask here, and I'd be happy to try to put you on the right track, just as a courtesy for watching this channel. Beyond that, though, if you like to make money and you want to make money with ads, real money, you should subscribe to this channel, as this information is coming straight from the source. I'm somebody who does ad strategy all day long. I'm not a YouTuber, course seller. I'm just doing ad strategy for clients, and I'm giving you the stuff that works. Therefore, you should subscribe to this channel. It's the best information you can find. Similarly, if you like written content, I also have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog, as well as I have a column at entrepreneur.com where you can follow me as well. If you are looking for an ad manager, you can reach out to me. I might be able to work with you. You can reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com, and I could personally work on your accounts and not charge any fees necessarily to you up front until we get you a certain amount of sales lift on your account, given that's what we specialize at our firm. The catch is we got to really know we can get results on your stuff, but if you want to see if we can work together, I'd love to be able to hear from you and give you a free analysis. Beyond that, if you are looking to get results, don't want an ad manager per se, we sell campaign templates here as well, in that if we've worked in your market before, instead of building out everything in your market, why not just use the ads and the landing pages and everything we've used for your market to get results? We could tell you what results we got in your market, and then with that, for a one-time fee, you could just take the exact funnel that we used. We've worked in over 100 markets, so the chances are we've worked in your market. And if not, we've got people that take these templates and start side businesses up. They work so well. Starting a business from a working funnel, that's starting a business on easy mode. So if you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me as well at my firm at guaranteeppc.com. As a final last thing, if you are interested in getting free ad agency services from us and would be willing to let us share your campaign results on this channel, I'd love to hear from you. We got people mentioning all the time that they want practical examples of the stuff that I talk about on this channel, but without anybody willing to share the results on this channel, I can't do it. So it's totally free services. Normally we charge, thousands of dollars for these services. You'd get it for free as long as you'd be willing to let us share your results, short and medium and long term, as to what we did for you. So if you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me as well. I'll wrap it up with that, though. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.